Well, hi. I am now live, just fixing things with the lighting, just seeing if I can choose a suitable color. Hi, Ike. Everything's good. How is it with you? Hope everything is good with you as well. Oh, here we have some green lighting. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for a few more people to pop in, just letting everyone know that I am now live. Let's see. But hope you're all having a really good night and how you're all doing. Ike, everything is good with me as well, but I'm happy to hear that. I am live. Go to my YouTube channel. You want to join. Okay. Okay. Oof. Just turning on this slide, seeing if, yeah, I think this is better. Have my energy drink because it's almost midnight here in Sweden. And I just got home from work. So I need to, just calm down, take a moment, and yeah. But I'm very excited talking about home invasion movies, and on top of that, some true crime cases based on some of those movies. Let's see, Brevon's Flicks and Games. The one home invasion that creeped me out as a kid was The Strangers. Yeah, that is a good one. Ike, what do you do for work? Well, I take care of people with physical and mental disabilities. So what do you call that? Caretaker, caregiver, something like that. So that is my main job. I really like it. Not something I can do from home, but the commute is long. It takes me about 90 minutes to get home. So I finished at 10 p.m. and I came home at 11:30 p.m. Groundless Graveyard. Well, hi. Happy to have you here. Yeah. Okay. Now that a few more have joined, I will just get up my notes. And also, I will be reading like a lot of text from my cell phone. So please bear with me because I can't remember all the true crime stuff like and just by memorizing it. So you'll have to bear with me. Jenny Backman will watch this later. It's way too late here. Haven't had the time to watch your last one from the other day yet either. Yeah, I know, Jenny. It's okay. I know it's late. I know. But happy that you popped in to leave that comment. Brevon's Flicks and Games. I have autism. Despite that, I'm very passionate with film criticism, and I work at PetSmart. Oh, okay. PetSmart, is that like a store where they sell things for pets, or is it something completely different? I agree. I can't believe it's almost midnight there. It's about 4 p.m. here. Yeah, yeah, it is. Let's see. I will just take up the notes I have, and I will start with that one. And I will start from there. Brevon Flicks and Games. It's 6 p.m. here. Okay. Well, so we have a 6-hour difference with Brevon and an 8-hour difference with Ike. Wow. That is quite a lot. But I'm happy to have you guys here as always. Very excited about this. And the first movie that I want to show and talk about is one that I will review later this month. And it is actually The Strangers, which Brevon commented on earlier. This is a Polish edition called Nieznajomi, so The Strangers. And the reason why I wanted to start with this film is because this is rumored to be based on 2 true crime stories. And the first one is a very known one, and it is the Manson murders. Yes. So apparently the main inspiration for this was from the Manson murders. And I will read what happened. I am assuming that you all heard about Manson murders and that you might be familiar with the case, but I will read what happened anyway, so bear with me. It will be pretty long, but I hope you will be commenting, even though I'm reading. So we have this head figure, Charles Manson, who developed this Manson family cult. And the Manson family developed into a doomsday cult when Manson became fixated of the idea of an imminent apocalyptic race war between America's black population and the larger white population. A white supremacist, Manson believed that black people in America would rise up and kill all whites except for Manson and his family, but that they were not intelligent enough to survive on their own. They would need a white man to lead them. And so they would serve Manson as their master. And late in 1968, Manson adopted the term helter-skelter, taken from a song on the Beatles' recently released White album, to refer to this upcoming war. In early August 1969, so we're at the murders now, Manson encouraged his followers to start helter-skelter by committing murders in Los Angeles and making it appear to be racially motivated. The Manson family gained national notoriety after the murder of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others in her home on August 8 and 9 on 1969, and on Leno and Rosemary LaBianca the next day. Tex Watson and 3 other members of the family executed the Tate LaBianca murders, allegedly acting under Manson's instructions. So what happened was they first went to Cielo Drive, where Sharon Tate, who was then the wife of director Roman Polanski, and she was also 8 months pregnant. So Tex Watson, I have everyone's names here. Let's just see. So I think it was Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian were all ordered to go to Cielo Drive and basically kill everyone inside that house. So they went there, and before they could enter the house, a car was passing through the gate to get out of the driveway. So Tex Watson went up to the car where an 18-year-old Stephen Parent was in the car. And they had a brief exchange of words, and it ended with Tex Watson I think he first slashed him with a knife, and then he shot him 4 times in the stomach and chest area, killing Parent. So now they had their way in. So they made their way in. I think they cut open something in a window, like they had the protection and net or something for a window, and they got inside where Sharon Tate, a very famous hairdresser or hairstylist, Jay Sebring, and Wojtek Frykowski, and also a very wealthy heiress, Abigail Folger, were all like enjoying a nice and relaxing evening. Roman Polanski was not there because he was out of the country, I think, working on a movie. So they were there, and then Watson and the others attacked them. Jay Sebring was the first one to die. He was shot, and then I think they tied up Abigail Folger. She put us on struggle. I think she got stabbed, and Wojtek Frykowski, something. Also, a struggle ensued, but he managed to get out of the house, run out, but he was overpowered and stabbed 51 times. Yeah, 51 times. And then Abigail Folger also managed to escape her ties and run out from the house, like very close to where Frykowski was, but she was overpowered by Patricia. And then Tex Watson stabbed her to death as well. I think it was 28 times. So it was very brutal. And now the only one left in the house was 8 months pregnant Sharon Tate. So now all the attention is on her, and she's pleading with them, please just let me have my baby. You can take me hostage. I just want to, have my baby. Please save my baby. They weren't having it, and they stabbed her. I think it was 16 times. And while they were stabbing her, she was screaming, "Mother, mother." So horrible. And then when it was done, because Manson had ordered them to write something witchy or do something witchy. And they took, I think, a towel and they dipped it in Sharon Tate's blood, and they wrote on the front door, pig. So after that murder, they continued the next evening or night. But Manson said that the murders before, they were kind of chaotic and very brutal and not so neat. So he wanted to show them how to do it correctly. So they picked out a house which belonged to the LaBiancas, Lino and his wife. And Manson went in there first, and then he came back out and said to Tex and the others that they could come in because he had tied up the owners. So they went in there, and they said that they were just going to rob them. They won't hurt them, but they tied them up. They put like pillowcases over their heads, tied them with a cord. And I think Leno was in the kitchen or in some room, and his wife was in the bedroom, and they started attacking Leno. And then they heard some commotion from the bedroom, and it was his wife trying to get free from her ties. So they went in there and they began stabbing her brutally as well. I think she was stabbed somewhere between 40 or 50 times. And it was just crazy. And then when they were done with that, I think they stuck like a roast fork or something in Leno's belly or chest area, and also some kind of a fork in his throat. And then they left. So after that, this was creating a huge panic. Everyone was very scared, terrified what was going on, but it eventually caught the Manson family, and Manson was sentenced to death, but that was later changed to life in prison. And he remained there until he died in 2017, but a lot of his other family members are still in prison. So that was really crazy, but it is still such a huge deal. And my mom, she used to grow up like watching Sharon Tate movies. And I mean, she was just horrified when she first heard about this case, and so sad. And to this day, she still shows me like pictures of Sharon Tate, and it's like, oh, look at how beautiful and wonderful she was. But yeah, so that murder case was actually one of the inspirations for The Strangers. So let's see what you have written. Reverence, Flicks, and Games. As for films loosely based on true crime stories, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, is a little bit dated but very disturbing. Yeah, that is a really good one. I agree. Which country do you think you get the most views from? Oh, I know. It is the US, actually. Most of my views are from the US, like a lot of them. Ginja Ninja, hey, sorry I'm late. No problem. I will probably be here for a while. But that was the first true crime case that I wanted to discuss with you guys. Do you have any comments about that case? Do you know a lot about it? Or maybe not? I created US. Yay! Yay! Yeah, I just think that there's a lot, a big horror market in the US that is bigger than in Sweden and maybe other countries. But I do get a lot of views from Sweden as well. Okay, so moving on to the second true crime case that I wanted to talk to you about. And it is actually dealing with the same movie. yeah, because as I mentioned earlier, this is based on two true crime cases. It has never really been confirmed. It has mostly just been rumored. Like people started noticing a few similarities between this movie and this second case. So it's still only a rumor. I don't think that the makers or creators have officially said that this is somewhat based on that story, but I'm talking about the KEDDIE murders. And also, if you've noticed in my description box for this live stream, I've put up some links, some YouTube videos to documentaries or segments regarding each case that I found very interesting. So if you want to check them out later, feel free to do so. But now we're moving on to the KEDDIE murders. So I don't know if you've heard about that one, but hopefully you have, or if you haven't, then you will get to know about it from me now. I just want to see. I will start from here. Let's see. Okay, so we need some background, some timeline, of course. So in May of 1979, Glenna Susan, or she was called Sue, and her last name was Sharp, along with her 5 children, left her home in Connecticut after separating from her abusive husband, James Sharp. She decided to relocate to Northern California, where her brother Don was residing at the time. Upon arriving in California, she began renting a small trailer formerly occupied by her brother at the Claremont Trailer Village in Quincy. The following fall, she moved to house number 28 in the rural Sierra Nevada community of KEDDIE. The house was much larger than the trailer and had become available when Plumas County's then Sheriff Sylvester Douglas Thomas moved out. There she resided with her 15-year-old son, John. He was actually born on the same day as me, November 16th, but not same year. 14-year-old daughter Sheila, 12-year-old daughter Tina, and 2 younger sons, Rick, age 10, and Greg, age 5. So, on April 11th, 1981, around 11:30 a.m., Sue, Sheila, her daughter, and Greg, her son, drove from their friend's house, the Meeks family, to pick up Rick, who was attending baseball tryouts at Gansner Field in Quincy. They happened upon John, her son, and his friend, Dana Hall Wingate, hitchhiking at the mouth of the canyon from Quincy, California to KEDDIE, and picked them up. Then going to KEDDIE about 6 miles away. That is 9.7 kilometers. So 2 hours later, around 3:30 p.m., John and Dana hitchhiked back to Quincy, where they may have had plans to visit friends. Around this time, the two were seen in the city's downtown area. The same evening, Tina had plans to spend the night with the Seabolt family, who lived in an adjacent home, while Sue remained at home with Rick, Greg, and the boys' young friends, Justin Smart. In the late afternoon, Sheila decided, her 14-year-old daughter, that she wanted to sleep at the Seabolts rather than Tina, something she'd never done before. So she decided to have a sleepover at her friend's house. Sheila departed cabin number 28 shortly after 8 p.m., leaving her mother alone with the younger children. Tina, who had been watching television at the Seabolts, where Sheila was going, returned home to cabin 28 around 9:50 p.m. after Sheila arrived at the Seabolts to spend the night, telling Tina she had to be home by 10 p.m. Okay, so around 8 a.m. in the morning of April 12th, so the next morning, Sheila returned to cabin 28 and discovered the dead bodies of Sue, the mother, John, the son, and their friend Dana in the house's living room. All 3 had been bound with medical tape and electrical cords. Tina was absent from the home, and while the 3 younger children, Rick, Greg, and their friend Justin, were physically unharmed in an adjacent bedroom. Initial reports stated that the 3 young boys had slept through the incident, though this was later contradicted. Upon discovering the scene, Sheila was rushed back to the Seabolds' house, whereupon Jamie Seabold retrieved Rick, Greg, and Justin through the bedroom window. He later admitted to having briefly entered the home through the back door to see if anyone was still alive, potentially contaminating evidence in the process. The murders of Sue, John, and Dana were notably vicious. 2 blooded knives and 1 hammer were found at the scene, and one of the knives, a steak knife, later determined to have been used in the murders, had been bent at roughly 30 degrees, so it had been bent backwards almost. It's crazy. Blood spatter evidence from inside a house indicated that the murders of Sue, John, and Dana had all taken place in the living room. Sue was discovered lying on her side near the living room sofa, nude from the waist down, and gagged with a blue bandana and her own panties. But when they had done some sexual assault search, they didn't find anything, even though she was nude from the waist down. And Sue had been stabbed in the chest. Her throat was stabbed horizontally, the wound going through her larynx and nicking her spine. And on the side of her head was an imprint matching the butt of a Daisy 880 Powerline BB pellet rifle. John's throat was gouged. Dana had multiple head injuries and had been manually strangled to death. John and Dana suffered blunt force trauma to their heads caused by a hammer or hammers. Autopsies determined that Sue and John died from the knife wounds and blunt force trauma, and Dana died by asphyxiation. So it's very vicious, very brutal. But the investigation was handled very poorly, because I just saw a documentary about this earlier today. It was handled very poorly. And a lot of evidence they just didn't pay attention. I don't really know why, but maybe if everything had been done much more thorough from the beginning, they would have arrested the killer, because this is still unsolved to this day. But there are strong evidence by watching the documentary and just reading stuff that really points to 2 people, in my opinion. So Sheila and the Seabold family, with whom Sheila had spent the night in the neighboring home, heard no commotion during the night. So no one had heard anything. And they just I think they lived like 15 feet from cabin 28, and no one heard anything. That's super crazy to me. A couple living in a nearby house at number 16 was awakened at 1:15 a.m. by what sounded like muffled screaming. So that was all anyone heard. Tina's jacket, shoes, and toolbox containing various tools were missing from the house, which showed no indication of forced entry. The house's telephone had been taken off the hook and the cord cut from the outlet, and the drapes were closed. Martin Smart, so he was called Marty, a neighbor and main suspect, claimed that a claw hammer had inexplicably gone missing from his home. Plumas County Sheriff Sylvester Thomas, who presided over the case, later stated that Martin had provided endless clues in the case that seemed to throw the suspicion away from him. In addition to interviewing the Smarts, detectives interviewed numerous other locals and neighbors. Several, including members of the Seabold family, recalled seeing a green van parked at the Sharps' house around 9 p.m. So Justin, the younger, the friend, the kid, Justin, who was sleeping over, Justin gave conflicting stories of the event, including that he had dreamt details of the murders, though he later claimed to have actually witnessed them. In his latter account of events, told under hypnosis, he claimed to have awoken to sounds coming from the living room while asleep in the bedroom with Rick and Greg. When interviewed on the day of his family's funerals, Greg told CADOG agent Quimmen Bradley he'd been awakened by the commotion and saw John, Dana, and Sue being attacked by 3 people, and that Justin and he were witnesses. So based on Justin's description, composite sketches of the two unknown men were produced by Harlan Embry, a man with no artistic ability and no training in forensic sketching. So why didn't they just hire a professional to do it? Because the sketches could have been so much better and maybe provided some people that would definitely have recognized them. You can, if you search for this case, you can definitely find the sketches that have been thrown around. So yeah, this was just a really crazy case and still unsolved. But what I think, who I think probably killed them is Martin Smart, along with his friend. They called him Bo, because they looked very similar to the sketches that Justin gave them. And also Martin really hated John and also Sue. And Martin had some trouble in his marriage, and then they were going through a divorce, and she wanted to leave him. And his wife had actually confided in Sue that they were having troubles, and Sue told her to leave him because she had herself left an abusive husband, because Marty was very, he had a temper, he could potentially become very violent, especially after drinking, and they had been drinking at a bar the night this happened. So a lot of evidence just points to Marty and his friend Bo, but they have passed away. But I can read you what Marty wrote in a letter to his wife. The last quote is just crazy. So the last quote was, this is from Marty, who was the main suspect, to his wife, who decided to leave him. And this was a few days after the murders. So, I've paid the price of your love, now that I've bought it with 4 people's lives. You tell me we are through? Great. What else do you want? I mean, that is kind of a confession. But also, the cops didn't realize that Sue's daughter, Tina, was missing until like a day later. Yeah, she was missing. And during, the first critical hours when someone has been kidnapped, they didn't even realize it. So they didn't do anything. Yeah. So that was crazy. But I put up a link to the documentary that I watched earlier about the KEDDIE murders. So you can go watch it if you're interested in this case and just want to know more about it. But yeah, that was supposedly also one of the true crime stories which inspired The Strangers. So let me see. Ground is grave at Jesus, yeah. And Client probably, hello. Hi, happy to have you here. Yeah, so we've just gone through 2 true crime cases connected to The Strangers. But what do you think about The Strangers? My review of that movie will be up later this month, but I rewatched it. It was a fun rewatch, and it was actually the first time that I realized that Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in that film. Yeah, I didn't even realize that before, because the first time I saw the film, I hadn't watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But now that I've seen every episode and just rewatched The Strangers, I realized it. It was crazy. I was like, what? Yeah, so he's in it for a while. But let's leave The Strangers alone for now. Client probably, that was a really horrifying film. Yeah, that was pretty intense. It had really good scenes. Okay, so the next movie I will talk about, the next home invasion movie that inspired another true crime. I don't have it in my collection, unfortunately, but that movie is called Angst, or Angst. And it is inspired by the killing spree of Werner KNIESEK. Yes. So let's see. So I'm just checking. There we have it. So Werner was sent to jail for minor stuff. And after the jail time, this is where I will begin. With the money that KNIESEK received in jail through making illegal liquor, he bought a gas pistol in Vienna, and on January 16, 1980, went by train to St. Pölten, where he posed as a carpet representative, and took a taxi to the AM Copper Brunberbrot settlement. Arbitrarily, he broke into the villa of the Altrater family in the Fuchsenkellergasse, where 26-year-old wheelchair-bound Walter was living, whom KNIESEK knew since he was 3 years old. He held Walter down, and when his 55-year-old mother Gertrude and 24-year-old sister Ingrid came home in the evening, they were overwhelmed and tied by KNIESEK in the hallway. Since the mother believed this was a robbery, she presented the offender with a check for 20,000 shillings. Shortly thereafter, KNIESEK tortured and strangled the son with his bare hands, dragging the body of the wheelchair to his mother, torturing her as well, and then strangling her 3 hours later with a noose. Ingrid was mistreated by KNIESEK for 7 to 11 hours and then strangled as well. Her body was covered with welts, hematomas, and dozens of burn marks. Before she died, she had responded to a call from her fiancé saying that she was in a hurry, had no time, and had to cancel an upcoming meeting. KNIESEK is said to have been in the vicinity. He also killed the family's cat, lay down and fell asleep next to his victims. A 21-year-old lodger survived because she had exchanged her day off with a colleague and therefore was not home. So, I mean, he really took his time. He tortured this poor family, and he even killed the cat. Yeah, but that inspired the movie Angst, which I saw a lot of years ago. But it is a very raw and very disturbing movie. So if you haven't watched it and you're interested in watching it, then I think you really should watch it because it is a very good movie. So sad I don't have it in my collection, but I will get it. I will. So that was the third true crime case that I wanted to talk about. So now I've gone through the true crime cases, and I will just talk about some other home invasion movies. And let's see what you have. Ginja Ninja. The Strangers was an awesome film. It's terrifying. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is great. Yeah, It's Always Sunny is one of my favorite TV shows. It's so good. I truly, truly love it. So speaking of The Strangers, here we of course have The Strangers Part 2, Pray at Night. And I really, really love this film. I will also review it this month, but I think this is a lot better than the first one. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I really, really like this film. What do you think? Do you prefer the first movie or do you prefer the sequel? I would just have a sip of my energy drink. Yes, I really needed that. Okay, and here we have a movie that was the first home invasion review I started with this month, and it is Them. This movie is also said to be based on a true story. I searched for it, and the only thing I could find is that it's based on an Austrian couple that was killed in the Czech Republic. And then when I searched for that, I really didn't find anything. I found some info about a family that was killed in Czech Republic, but that was in 2013. This movie came out in 2006, so it possibly can't be that case. So I really didn't find anything. So this is just probably, yeah, take it with a grain of salt when you watch this film. This is probably very exaggerated and very loosely based on something. Let's see. Client probably. I prefer the first one. Okay. And here we have a movie that I just reviewed today, actually. So if you haven't seen that review, you can check it out. Here is Torso. Yes. And this is a very strange one because even though it is a bit of a home invasion movie, it is also a giallo movie and a slasher movie. And then it becomes a home invasion movie. So we have three very good subgenres in one film. And if I delved a little bit deeper into this film, I could probably find even more subgenres. But yeah, I like this film, even though I think that the third act dragged on a bit. It slowed down. It wasn't as good as the first hour. And I really wish that in the third act, I wish that they had just taken it up a notch, that the pacing would have been like even faster and just, yeah, shocked us with something really, really good. But still a good movie in my opinion. Ninja. I was a bit disappointed in the sequel. It wasn't bad, but the first was better. Oh, okay. Okay. So you seem to prefer the first movie. Okay. But I am so in love with the second one. It's so good. But when you will hear my review of it, you might understand why. So here we have another movie which I reviewed yesterday. And it is one of my favorite home invasion movies. It's so good. And I'm, of course, talking about You're Next. Yes. You're Next is such an amazing movie. And it has one of my favorite characters that I've ever seen in a movie. Like, Arian's character, played by Sharni Winson, is probably one of the best written characters in a while. She really is. She makes this film. Like, she just kicks ass. She knows exactly what to do. And it is motivated by stuff from her past. And it is really believable. And it's so good. And also, Barbara Crampton is in this one. So I will watch anything with Barbara. Oh, so amazing. It's getting a bit hot in here, actually. Well, with all the lights, and it's really hot here in Sweden. But yeah, just wanted to see and check if my mom had written anything. Because she wanted to see this live stream, but I don't know if she knows how to do it. So just checking to see if she had written me anything, but no. But maybe she fell asleep. That's okay, too. But what do you think about You're Next? Please let me know. And I just think that the script is so good. Let's see, client property. I will have to watch it again. Don't remember it too well. Okay. Horror with Haas. I Like Your Next. Barbara Crampton is awesome. Yeah, she truly is. Like, anything that she's in, I will watch it immediately. Yeah, and she just seems like such a sweetheart. And she seems like she really loves the horror genre, like with a huge passion. Yeah. And I think she's getting like really good and solid acting parts. And I mean, she's been in some really iconic horror movies like Reanimator and From Beyond. Yeah, and Castle Freak. Ooh, that film was good, if you remember that one. Yeah, but You're Next, I was very pleasantly happy to watch her in that. I think she did a really good job. And also, I really like the masks that they use. And then someone on Facebook commented on like, oh, that song gets stuck in your head. And I mean, yeah, it does, because it plays like on repeat, like almost through the entire film. So that song is also stuck in my head. And I like think about that song a lot. Ninja. You're Next is great. Yes, it truly is. I'm so happy that this movie exists. Ninja. It's winter in Australia and bloody cold. I've always wondered about that. Like, when it's winter, I know it's winter in Australia now when we have summer here. But how cold does it get? Like, do you have like snow and minus temperatures? Or is it like just a milder version of summer? I'm very curious. Because when we have winter here, it's It's so snowy, it's so cold, it's minus, and you're like everything just feels like it's so cold, it's like falling apart. Yeah. Sometimes I don't even want to go outside when it's winter. It's so cold. But I have to. Don't have a car, so I have to get to work somehow by commute. Yes, by taking the subway, and then I have to walk to the subway. And it's cold, but now it's really warm. Clean Proby, are you in Sydney? My Aussie friends have told me it gets cold there. Okay, yeah, I want to know how cold. Yes, how cold does it get in Australia? Okay, let's see. Here is one that Ginja Ninja, no, Adelaide. Okay. Here's one that a lot of people have talked about, especially when I announced that I was doing the home invasion theme for June. And it is Inside, the original, of course. And I reviewed this movie when I did my Christmas Horror Madness back in December. So if you want to check out that review, you can just scroll down. But this is a fantastic film. I really love the story. And even though it doesn't say that it is based on a true story, like I remember a case similar to this film where a woman like was really obsessed with having a baby of her own, but for some reason couldn't or whatever. And she just wanted to get a baby, like no matter what it took. So I think she broke into pregnant woman's house or apartment, and yeah, she did horrible things to that woman, but she was caught like almost immediately, I think. But that case sounded a little similar to this, but Inside is just super good, and it's so gory. I mean, the effects are amazing. Clean Property. Ooh, have heard of it but never seen it. Oh, I think you really should. You really should. Ginja Ninja. But yeah, it gets freezing. In some areas, it gets below 0 sometimes. Not a lot of snow except in some areas. Okay. Well, then I've gotten a pretty good picture of how cold it can get in the winter. And yeah. It's sounds like almost like in Sweden, but just a bit warmer. Because here, like in the winter time, it's snow everywhere. Yeah, everywhere where you go, and it's so much, and yeah, I don't want to be here during the winter, but But as I said, Inside, really good movie. If you haven't seen this film, I think you really should. And the remake was pretty horrible. Yeah, of course, you know, the Americans had to do a remake of this, and it wasn't good at all. Let's see. Ginja Ninja, we have a low of 7 degrees Celsius here today. Okay, I know exactly what that feels like. Yeah, that's pretty cold. Yeah, sometimes we get like minus 10, minus 15, minus 20. In some areas, minus 25 degrees Celsius. It's crazy. But today is the opposite. It's like 25 degrees plus 25 degrees Celsius. So it's a bit too hot for me, but yeah. But here we have another really good home invasion movie, which I have reviewed. I did it in April when I had my gore month, and it is Switchblade Romance, or as it is also known as High Tension. Yeah, I think the script for this film is really good, and also the twist is good. Like, I didn't see it coming, but the twist also brings a lot of issues, like a few minor issues. It doesn't completely make sense in some scenes, in some shots. It's like, wait a minute. Huh? But overall, I like the twist, even though it has a few minor issues, but I understand why they went with that. And also the gore is really good, and there is a really good car chasing scene between the main character and the antagonist, which is really good. It has good music, and it is a very intense and good, fast-paced scene. So if you haven't watched Switchblade Romance, then I really think you should. Also one of my favorite home invasion movies. I just wish that the ending would have made a little bit more sense, but it's still a very good twist and a very good ending. Okay. So how are we doing? Everyone still okay? Yeah. I will take a sip out of my energy drink. And if you can't stay with me for long today, it's okay. I'm just happy that you popped in. You can always watch this episode later because everything, you know, is saved on YouTube. So I'm happy about that. But let me know more about some home invasion movies you want to talk about, or home invasion movies that you really like or dislike, or that you are looking forward to today. Let's see. I have one here. It was 28 degrees today in Prague. Wow, that is really, really warm. Yeah, when I lived in Prague, I really liked the weather there. Like during the winter, it got a bit cold, but it wasn't as cold as in Sweden. And the winter seems to not last as long as it does in Sweden. So I really like the weather. I was very happy, even though, you know, it was a bit cold during like a small period when I was there, and there was snow. But from what I remember, it faded kind of quickly. Yeah, or my memory is just. But yeah, I like the weather in Prague. But 28 degrees is too hot for me. It truly is. I like to wear my hoodies and stuff. But yeah. So I'm a bit warm, but you can see my hoodie here. It is Cult of Chucky. But yes, continuing on with the home invasion movies. We have one that I will review with my good friend Art from Art with Horror. You can check out his YouTube. He is also a horror reviewer and horror content creator. And it is called Don't Breathe. So this is also one of the best home invasion movies that I've seen. I really, really like Don't Breathe. I like the concept and the idea. And also, I think Jane Levy did a really fantastic performance in this one. And it feels a bit different because it is about these three young adults that are going to rob this big house where a blind man lives. So they think that, you know, it will be easy. He's blind. He won't see us. We'll be in and out. It will be quick. But, you know, things doesn't always work out, and it sure doesn't in this case. So something goes wrong, and now they have to fight this blind man. But he has some skills of his own. Let's see, Ninja. I thought it was a bit like Fight Club in the way of the twist. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in Fight Club, everything kind of makes sense. Like in every scene, from what I remember, it was a long while ago. But in Switchblade Romance, there were some instances where it kind of didn't. It would be like, but how would? But I still like the twist. That's the kicker. Like I love the twist, but doesn't make sense in every scene. But it's okay. I can look past that because it is such a amazing movie. Yeah. But Don't Breathe is really good. And I'm really looking forward to reviewing it with my good friend Art. Hopefully we can put it up next week. And yeah. Horror with Haas, that turkey baster scene. Yikes. Yeah, I did not see that coming at all. So I do like that it first plays out as a kind of regular home invasion movie, but with the twist, like him being blind and stuff. And then there's the thing with him fighting back. And you're like, okay, interesting mixed concept. And then you have that part the turkey baster part, you're like, wait a minute, now who am I even rooting for? Yeah. So I think that was really good. And I really loved the drone shots in that movie because I watched like a behind the scenes for that film, and they used like gorgeous drone shots. Yeah, that was really, really well done. And it was also interesting because my friend had recently also gotten his own drone, super cool. And then based on that technique, we kind of used it in my movie Rotten Love, my short film. And I'm really happy with that drone shot in particular. Yeah. But don't breathe. Please don't miss out on this film. Super good. Okay. Let's see. Not many movies left in my collection here that are home invasion movies. I probably forgot a few upstairs, but that's okay. We can talk about any home invasion movie that you want to talk about. And here is a newer one, which is called Trespassers. I've only seen it once, and I will also review this movie, of course, this month on my YouTube channel. But it stars Fairuza Balk. Just because that I'm blanking in that film. What was it called? Which movie with Fairuza Balk? In Swedish, it's Den onda cirkeln. Sorry, I have to check this out because it's driving me crazy. Let's see. Fairuza Balk. She was in. Maybe someone knows about that movie's name before I did. Please. Okay, let's see here. I'm on IMDb right now. The Craft. Oh, The Craft. Thank you, IMDb. Thank you. Let's see. Ginja Ninja. I'll need to rewatch it. But Don't Breathe is good too. Really well done. They're doing a sequel to it apparently. Yeah, they are. They are, and I'm so excited and happy about it. I haven't read much about the sequel, or if they even have released like any info about the story or whatever. So I'm really thinking about the ways that they can go with the story. Like, yeah, horror with Haas, the raft, but I understood the craft. Yeah, craft. Sorry. Yeah, that happens to everyone. But I've only seen this once, as I said, and I saw it when it came out in 2019. So it is a pretty recent movie. But I think from what I remember, it is an okay film. But I will rewatch it, and maybe it will be better than I remember, or it will be worse than I remember. But hopefully better. Yeah, hopefully. I love me a good home invasion movie. And, Fairuza Balk is amazing. So always fun to see her in movies. Okay, taking a sip because I'm very thirsty. Oh, and today I only worked a 6-hour shift. So started at 4 p.m. ended at 10 p.m. And before that, I just played Animal Crossing for like 4 hours straight. Yeah. And yesterday, during like the from I think 9 p.m. until 2 a.m., I also played Animal Crossing. Yeah, I can't stop fishing. It's crazy. But if any of you also play Animal Crossing, let me know. Let's see. Horror with Us. Have you mentioned Black Christmas or When a Stranger Calls? No, I haven't actually. But those are good ones as well. I really like When a Stranger Calls. I know a lot of people prefer the remake though. And I can understand why. Because When a Stranger Calls, like the first, I think 10 or 15 minutes are super good. Very intense. Love the story. But then it becomes a bit weaker. And I love the remake that they just focused on keeping the entire movie instead of just having the first 15 minutes regarding that situation, if you have seen both. But in the remake, they just made it the first 15 minutes of the older one into an entire feature film. And I liked it. I watched it when it came out in the cinema, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't like super good, but still an entertaining and enjoyable movie. But the first 15 minutes in When a Stranger Calls, the original, is so good. I just wish the rest of the film had been as good as well. Let's see, Client probably. Black Christmas was so over the top, it lost its scariness for me. But which Black Christmas are you talking about? Because, you know, we have the one from 1974, then we have the remake from 2006, and then we have the really crappy one from 2019, I think it was. But I do like the original one from 1974. I think it's an excellent movie. Okay. What did you think was so over the top? I'm just very curious. I do like the 2006 as well. I think that was a good remake. But then you have the one from 2019, and it's so bad. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. And it makes the one from 2006 even better in comparison. Yeah, but I think the one from 74 had a really good atmosphere, kind of creepy, and I loved the ending. I think the ending was really clever, really good story, and just script writing, so good. And also the acting from what is her name? Is it Olivia? Let's see. Black Christmas. Olivia Hussey, yeah. From the acting from Olivia Hussey in Black Christmas is fantastic, in my opinion. She just seems so natural and genuine as Jess, and I just believed her character entirely. Yeah. And Clean probably yes. But do you still think it's like an okay film, or do you like dislike it completely? I'm very curious. But yeah, I reviewed all the Black Christmas movies when I did my Christmas Horror Madness theme back in December. So you can check them out if you want to. And if you've seen the one from 2019, please let me know your thoughts about that movie. Okay, here we have the last movie that I brought from my movie rooms downstairs. Yes, I said movie rooms, not movie room, because I have two rooms filled with movies. If you've seen my videos where I've filmed my room or rooms, then you know. But this is also a fairly recent one, and it is Us. It's from Jordan Peele, you know, the guy who made Get Out. I like this film, but I have like one major issue with it, and I will go into that issue when I will review the movie. I will upload the review later this month. But I think this was a kind of fun and clever and just a fresh way of doing a home invasion movie, in my opinion. Client probably. I felt that the killer could have been overpowered, and Olivia Hussey blew a lot of chances to kill him off. Okay. Yeah, I can see your point. I can understand that. Yeah. But what do you guys think about the movie Us? Or have you seen it? Or do you want to see it? Dennis Rubnikov. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Dennis. Hope you're doing well. We've been talking about true crime cases and horror, home invasion horror movies for the past hour. And I've been going through some of the home invasion movies in my collection. Client probably. Us was very strange. Yes, it was quite strange. It was, but I did like the concept. I love the music in it. I think he uses the music in his movies in a very smart and clever way. But as I said, I had just one major issue with it. But otherwise, I think Us is a really good home invasion movie. It's definitely a fresh one, a really modern home invasion movie. Clean probably loved the fight scenes. Yes, I agree. The fight scenes were really good, and it also had some dark humor in it, which I really appreciate. Ginja Ninja, enjoy the rest of your live stream, Sarah. Time for me to get ready for work. Hope you will have a great day at work. Thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing day. Or, yeah, the rest of the day. Or you're ahead, so yeah, probably in the morning. Horror with Haas. I like Us. I think Jordan Peele has been coming up with some very unique movies. I think so too. I think with him coming from a comedy background, he brings something unique and fresh to the horror genre because I don't think he looks at the horror genre as maybe we do with just our, like, horror eyes. And we've been, just creating horror movies and always thinking in a horror kind of way. So I think he just looks at the horror genre in a different way. And I think that is why he's been able to bring something unique into each of the movies he's been creating. But that's just my opinion. Probably, I do prefer Get Out, though. Yeah, I agree. I think Get Out is better, but I still like Us. But I think Get Out is a perfect movie, in my opinion. It's just such a fresh and good idea, and just a great spin on that particular topic. So I do agree that Get Out is better. Yes. So you're not wrong about that. But still, Us is a good movie. And as I said, I will let you know my thoughts about a movie even more when I do my review. Yes. Okay, so I've gone through my stack of home invasion movies, and I'm wondering if there are any more home invasion movies that you want to talk about. I will just get out a list of some of the movies that I probably missed. Home invasion horror movies. Okay. Oh, yes. There is one movie that I really wanted to review for my Christmas Horror Madness, but when I wanted to order it, it was sold out, like everywhere, and that was Better Watch Out. Oh, that was a really good home invasion movie, like just really fresh and a new take on it. Yeah, because I was like so confident, like, oh, I know the story, I know what will happen, I know this format, and no, it just turned into something completely different from what I had imagined, and it was done in such a good way, and it's also a Christmas movie. So yeah, I think that is very fresh and unique, and if you've seen it, let me know what you think about Better Watch Out. But I will try and find it. I hope they will restock it somewhere and I can get it, because I really want to review it, maybe for December, if I can get it. Oh, and also a really bad home invasion movie. Like most of these movies that I've talked about, I really like. But one really bad home invasion movie is Knock Knock, if you've seen it, with Keanu Reeves, where he's at home and then he gets a knock on a door, and there are these two women. I think they're looking for help or something, and he invites them in, and yeah, something goes wrong. But I think that was a really, really bad movie, in my opinion. So if you've seen Knock Knock, please let me know what you think about it. You see, Dennis Dubnikov. If I like Jamie Bernadette, yeah, I do like her. I've seen her in some movies. I do like her acting, and I'm looking forward to whatever she has coming up. Let's see more. Of course. Oh, how can I forget? Like one of the most famous home invasion movies or home invasion movie series is, of course, The Purge, which I reviewed on Purge Day, March 21st. So I reviewed all 4 Purge movies. and I really like the concept of the Purge, and I like all of the movies, with the third one being my favorite. So the Purge Election Day is definitely my favorite, but I like all of them. I think each movie just brings something new to the table, and it evolves all the time. So the first movie have the family inside their house, and it's mostly inside. And then in the second movie, we are now outside instead. So yeah, we get to follow a couple who get stranded outside, and then like more people joins them, and we get to know more about the organization and how it works. Then in the third movie, we get very political, and we get to see how the purge is used in a political way. And then, of course, we have the fourth movie, which is called The First Purge, because it is a prequel. So we get to see how the purge, how that got voted yes, and then how the first purge started. So I think those movies are very good. Please just then. Yes, let's see. Okay. So another good one, in my opinion, is a newer one called Hush. It is about a... she is... I think she is deaf. Yeah. So the main character is deaf, and then she gets attacked by someone trying to enter her home. And I think that is a very good film. I also wanted to order it, but it was sold out from where I wanted to order it. So I'll see if I have the time to get it. Hopefully I will for this month, but I don't know. But I think it was a really good and clever movie, because you get a lot of intense scenes when the guy is trying to get into her home, like, is there, but she can't hear him. So we see him like standing there, but she doesn't know, and we're like, oh, yeah. Dennis Rubinhouse. Sarah, you read H.P. Lovecraft? Yeah, I've read some of his books. Have some of his books in my collection as well. But it's been a while since I read anything from H.P. Lovecraft. But yeah, I do like his books and stories. And At the Mountain of Madness is really good. Castle of Altar is also very good. And then there's a lot of, short stories that are good as well. Let's see if I can find just a few last movies before I sign off. Let's see, which I haven't talked about already. But yeah, I just love the home invasion genre, because it feels so real, because it happens. Home invasion happens quite a lot. Some are, not so violent as these movies, and some, unfortunately, are. But yeah, it is a bit of a fear of mine to be in a home invasion. But yeah, hopefully I will never have to experience it. But let's see some more. Oh, of course, Funny Games. How can I forget Funny Games? By Michael Haneke. Yeah, he made Funny Games, and then he directed the remake of Funny Games, which is basically a shot-for-shot from the original movie. But I prefer the original movie. I think it just feels more raw and brutal in some ways. But I can understand that he made a remake just to engage a larger audience, because he got Naomi Watts, he got Tim Roth, and yeah, more people probably watch the remake. But I'm not going to review those movies for this month. I am saving them for when I do original versus remake next time. I don't know when that will be, but it will be next year, because I already did it this year in March. But next time I will review the Funny Games movies. So I haven't forgotten about them, But there are a lot of home invasion movies that I will not be reviewing this month. I think I will be reviewing 11 or 12. And then I will also be reviewing the 2 Midsummer movies. The one by Ari Aster, Midsommar, and then a Danish movie called Midsummer. Yes. But that will be on Midsummer because we're celebrating Midsummer in Sweden here on the 25th of June. And then also I will be doing a fan review. So I will pick one of the movies that you suggested that you want me to review, and I will also review it. Hopefully the one I have in mind, I can get a copy of it this month, but if I don't, then I will choose something else. But this one, I really hope they will restock it soon because it is a special movie. Yes. Okay, so that was, a lot of talk about home invasion movies and some true crime cases. And as I mentioned earlier, if you were interested in any of the cases I went through, I have put links in the description box to some documentaries and some videos you can watch about the cases. Let's see. Heroic Waffles. Hey, what's up? Hey. Dennis, what do you think fight scenes? Do you mean like general fight scenes, or is there any specific type of fight scene in a specific film? I mean, if they're done well, they're very enjoyable. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. Like, life gets in the way and you're doing other stuff. It's fine. Like, I don't get mad. No. But unfortunately, I will be ending soon. I'm going to sleep. Glad I could join for a bit. Well, thank you so much for joining, and hope you will get a good night's sleep. And I'll see you next time. Bye. And I'll be ending this really soon as well, because I feel like I don't have anything more to talk about, actually, if there's nothing that you want to talk about. Hero Pops, I know, but you're super awesome. Well, thank you so much. And so are you. So are you. So are all of you for joining. But I'm thinking about maybe doing another live stream on Thursday. Yeah. Hopefully I can do one on Thursday. It'll probably be around the same time because as I said before, I finish at 10 p.m. on Thursday and I'll be home at 11:30 p.m. Yeah. But hopefully I will catch all of you on Thursday. Horror with Haas. I have enjoyed your stream. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Well, I hope you also have a great rest of your day as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Check out the links if you want to. And have an amazing day or evening or morning, wherever you are. I'll just answer, Dennis, you come back in BJJ or MMA. Yeah, I'm not doing MMA anymore. I used to be an MMA fighter or amateur MMA fighter, but I stopped that career 6 or 7 years ago. But I'm still watching every MMA event and stuff like that. But I'm not doing it anymore. I have other things I'm focusing on now. But thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Bye, everyone.